For our first laboratory exercise, we learn the basic parts of the insects. These include the antenna, which provide the insects its senses, mouth parts that is used for feeding, processing, and manipulating food, eyes which provide sight for the insect, legs give movement for the insect, wings that is used for flying, and the ovipositor which provide the insects a way to lay its mature egg.
In our second laboratory exercise, we discuss different kinds of collecting methods and materials. For active collecting method, the collector actively searches out ants using nets, aspirators, beating sheets, and apparatus suits. While for passive collecting methods, it focuses on trapping ants using baits.
We used both the collecting methods and collecting our insects. In active collection method, we used a swift net, and through the swift net, we gathered or caught 4 different insects. One is a butterfly, the other 2 are beetles, and the last one is a bee. Also, we collected ants in 10 different locations, 5 of which are located inside the building situated in our chosen sampling points, and the other 5 are located outside the building situated also in our chosen sampling points.
In collecting our ants, we use a fine paintbrush and collected them by hand. In passive collecting method, we used baits made out of a mixture of peanut butter and tuna which was placed in a sheet of paper, and we waited for 30 minutes in order to attract enough ants. After that, the paper with the bait and ants collected were placed in a Ziploc bag. Overall, we were able to collect 75 ants of different species. We also took note of the location where the baits were placed, its altitude, and GPS.
After collecting, it was tasked to process and clean the ants in order to prepare them for mounting and identification. First, they were placed in a petri dish or a bowl containing 90% alcohol. Then they were placed in a petri dish or bowl containing water. And then finally, they were placed in a test tube containing 90% alcohol.
During the cleaning process, the amount of ants per Ziploc bag were counted and noted their species and their frequency in a ledger. This was done as well as to the insects collected using a swift net.
Lastly, for the third laboratory exercise, the ants were mounted on a paper stage while the other insects collected were placed in a styrofoam board by pinning them using entomology pins. The ants were placed on its side with its head on the left while insects were pinned on the side of its thorax. Moreover, each species of ants and insects, dorsal and ventral view were observed under a dissecting microscope and were documented. The documentation of ants and insects were used to identify which subfamily and genus these ants and insects belong to using a dichotomous